GJ? GGG. Hey guys! Today I'm trying out some of the recently changed features in East Asia region, as well as making a guide for Pacifist Ming. The changes focuses on Confucian religion and the new mandate reform that allows to vassalize tributaries. Ming start with 1100 dev and 66 income. I played for around 100 years without declaring a single war and went up to 280 of income and 1900 dev. The mana generation is absurd with all the +5 advisors, and I had good luck with rulers after the first bad one. They changed inward perfection in 1.32 already, but I never tested it since then. Now it gives even more bonuses apart from the dev cost, and it fits totally with the pacifist gameplay. Also having 100 harmony gives a lot of bonuses, including 10% dev cost and also 50% harmonization speed, so you should wait to be at 100 harmony to start harmonizing. For ideas, I took economic first, of course, for the -20% dev cost, which synergize very well with inward perfection and harmony. Then I took influence for the -25% deploy and X cost with diplomatic, so I can have a lot of vassals and diplomats annex them all at once. I played the game pretty normally, trying to max out mandate gain to pass the last reform as quick as possible. I did it in 1533, but it's probably possible to do it a little faster if you find more tributaries and are a little lucky on the mandate events. 80 years is still a long time to pass all the reforms if you intend to play other countries like Japan, Korea, Qing or Yuan with mandate. It will probably take longer, since you won't gain as much mandate before a long time. Probably won't be before 1600. You don't need 100 mandates to pass the reform, but I prefer to do it to keep stability, since you get a bunch of minuses if you're below 50. Once you pass the last reform, you can use mandate to convert tributaries to vassals. It costs 40% of the tributary developments in mandate, so the maximum dev is 250 for 100 mandates. This value cannot be changed by anything. I tried with deploy and X cost, works cost, and even admin efficiency, but the value cannot change. For now, I already have 8 vassals, so let me skip forward to when I annex them all. So here I annex them all and my border I've changed, and now I can get more tributaries. You can do it diplomatically most of the time, even with big countries, just by improving relations and making big armies. To show you the power of the last reform, I'm going to convert Tondo, which is in the Philippines. Normally you don't have the range to make tributaries or vassals there. Ming starts with them as tributaries, so it's very useful. So you can see Tondo is now my vassal. My diplomatic range has changed, so now countries around them will be okay to become my vassals diplomatically. You just need 190 relation, which is fairly easy to do. Just alliance, royal marriage, great power influence, send gifts, offer milk access, guarantee, all of those add up for a total of 145 relations just by clicking some buttons. But with improved relations and subsidize, you can get it up to 260 to counteract a negative opinion from allying rivals or different religions. If some of the countries in the Philippines don't want to be vassalized right away, just need to get closer by getting new vassals around the one you already have, and boom, they're gonna accept. Of course, you should be using strong duchies for +2 diplo relations and the integration policy to integrate all your vassals without diplo rep penalties. Currently, I have 8 diplo relations and 6 diplomats. It allows me to annex almost all of them at once, but you should be aware that when you annex one vassal, all the other current ones get the stacking -25 opinions with you, which could make it impossible to annex them without waiting a little. In my case, I just need to make sure they have around 250 opinion, so when I annex the first 2, I can start all the other 6 annexation at the same time, because once it started, the opinion doesn't matter, only the liberty desire does. This one was a little boring at the start, to begin passing the first reforms and advancing technologies to unlock new buildings and to begin improving your country, but the start is very easy. You won't be able to pass all the reforms before the age of reformation, so you should be careful with the crisis of the Ming Dynasty disaster. It's impossible to avoid it while passing reforms, because once you're below 50 mandate, the disaster progress. Personally, I passed the 4th reform during Age of Reformation. The disaster almost fired before I reached 50 mandate again, and it fired just after I did the 5th reform. Just have a lot of troops and stock your max manpower before the disaster and you'll be fine. The disaster will make you lose 30 mandate, so you You don't have to get to 100 to pass the reform, since the 30 you have left will be lost. You need to go back to 75 mandate and have no rebels to finish the disaster. So once I've passed all the reforms, I'm gaining 0.51 mandate each month, meaning 100 mandate every 17 years, which means you can convert 250 devs from tributaries into vassals every 17 years, which is pretty good. And at that, you add the normal Diplo vassalize to grow very fast. Your only problems are big countries over 250 dev that you cannot convert into vassals, because you will never be able to split them without the war. You should try to block big countries from expanding by vassalizing everyone around them, but it won't always be easy. Ayutthaya, for example, is a difficult one because everyone around them are your tributaries already. You could release them, but you lose relations with them, so it's harder to vassalize. If you make them tributary, they're even more protected and will never split. Japan is also off limits because of the daimyo shogun government. You can't vassalize them or make them tributaries and not even support independence. Since you have a lot of money to spare, you should improve your monuments. You start with 4 in China. The best one for this strategy is the Forbidden City. It starts level 1, but only level 3 improves the mandate growth, so it will take some time to do. Temple of Confucius is great too, because you will almost be able to harmonize religion without losing any harmony once it's level 3. The Great Wall, on the other hand, is pretty much useless, since you don't do wars, but you'll have events that make you pay money to upgrade it without construction time, so just forget about it. Fourth one is Porcelain Tower. Normally you gain enough meritocracy since you'll be having advisors level 3 or 4 very quickly, so it's not very useful, but it's still a good bonus. But it's the institution spread that is actually very strong for Ming, since you have so much dev that once you dev the new institution in one province, you will need to wait for the spread to get it, and the tower will help you a lot with that. Later in the game, when you vassalize and annex some countries, you can get new monuments, and most of Burma and Indochina will work if you harmonize the religions there. Just before we leave, I wanted to show you one last thing. I'm almost at my first limit, and I made armies of 37k, since we're at 27 combat width, and I can have 8 generals without penalties. So all but one of my armies don't have a general. I could use my ruler or heir to make all my armies have one. I think this is a very nice feature that will greatly help the late game, where you have a lot of armies split over on the roll. So I hope you like this video. As always, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!